So I'm really using football as a kind of lens to look at British society through and how British society has changed. Many of them are interested in what happens on the pitch. You know, I'm also interested in what underpins what's going on the field. What are the economics and cultural interests? What do we know about the relationship between the game and politics? What about gender and race and how do they play out? I get sociology students, I get media students, I get criminology students, I get politics students. Let's talk about gender. Gender's really interesting. There have been challenges to that, historic challenges. There were women in the late 19th century who wanted to play. And in the First World War, there was a very successful women's game established. Very large crowds, 50,000 people wanting to watch women's football matches. And it took the women's game almost 50 years to get recognised again. Sport should be above other kinds of concerns. Sport should be above politics. The English wanted to keep sport and politics separate. So when Germany said to England in 1935, let's play a friendly football match, the English kind of thought, well, this is what we ought to do. We shouldn't look at what's happening in Germany.
We must give them their due. They were an orderly crowd. There was no shouting or flag waving. They didn't even wear favour.
And we still have these debates today. Should sport be separate and different from politics? Fandom has become this incredibly kind of complex situation. Who are the fans now? They're clearly not just people who go into the stadium. They're only a tiny proportion of the fans of very large clubs. Do we have to talk about media fans or internet fans as well as people who watch matches? Do we have to extend our ideas about what fandom is and why and how people connect with the game? And I think those are really interesting questions stimulated by globalization. We now are very reflexive about race. We investigate whether Black and Asian people have the same opportunities as white people do in the game. And I think that reflects wider changes in relation to gender and gender politics in Britain. I hope what they learn is the kind of hidden story. I think that the game still stands for solidarities and community identities, a sense of being someone in a world that seems to be changing very fast, being anchored and having connection with the local, I think is something that football still stands for and is still important.